Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings. Today we're going to discuss a couple of items. Uh, we're going to look at, is the FBA vote Republicans' golden ticket? I got a golden ticket, and it's called Black People. Take that. And is FBA guilt caused by proxy? Now, Wani, my music went a little funny. Can you hear me?
I could hear you, but there was some issues where I couldn't hear anything until I
Yeah, my
got up on the stage.
yeah, my music went funny. It wasn't just you. The music is just a little buggy, but we're going to address that in this space. Uh, so, Wani, is the FBA, is the Foundational Black American Vote Republicans on golden ticket? What you think?
Yes, it is. And I've been saying this for 5 years because I said if they would simply um, understand that we could be a cover for all the immigrants they want to get rid of. See, every time they try to do something, they look like racists, right? So if we say we want to get rid of immigrants because they're harming us, and we have proof of that, there have been articles since the 1980s really saying how immigration harms us, and we already know it historically has harmed us. But I mean, this steady flow of people running across the border, um, once we allow them to go along with what we're saying and they realize that, hey, they really don't like immigration either, then they don't have the barrier that they have. The only reason that they're going along with half of this stuff is because they believe we advocate for it. And if they go against it, then they look racist. So once we say, no, we don't care about any of that, they just, you know, throw them out of the country because the only reason that they remember that image where it looked like the Haitian man was being beaten with a whip, but he really wasn't. It was just the bridle of the horse flew up and the
Right?
guy was trying to, well, that's when we were still on the fence. Most people were like, oh my God, you're hitting that man. And because of that, they got to come over and get all kinds of protections, and they got to empower the Congressional Black Caucus to put forth every effort to keep them in the country. But the moment that we say, oh, no, we don't care about any of that, now the support was beginning to wane because you saw the Haitian leaders saying that Cuban people in Florida were more helpful for Cuban immigrants, and Black Americans need to help Haitians. So we were already not really helping them that much because, well, why would we? They come over here and form gangs and sell drugs. So what are we trying to get them to come over here for? Anyway, once we say, no, we're not into that anymore, then they don't have that guilt trip and they don't have that feeling of being racist. And they can say, hey, let's get the country back to the demographics that were more optimal, let's say the 50s.
Right. So, what you said was really important with respect to the Republican Party. And as a historian, let me get something straight. Personally, I'm neither Republican nor Democrat. I don't care for parties. I'm a scholar. I don't, let me tell you where I stand. I'm gonna go for with whatever party or group is gonna support foundational Black Americans. That's how I roll. But looking back at history, the Republican Party has given more to foundational Black Americans than the Democratic Party. I think in my last space, I identified that the Democratic Party has a long, verifiable history of being anti-Black American and using immigrants to destroy the Black American population. That was yesterday's post, so I'm not going to go there. But what I am going to do is look at this golden ticket called Black people. Republicans, if you're listening, um, if you look back to 19, let's do it, 1960. I mean, I'm sorry, 1860. Excuse me. Let me reiterate. 1860. The uh, such a long story. Uh, President Lincoln was caught in a pickle. And it's something else I want to tell you. I don't really have time to look for it, but it's so interesting showing Dr. Howard Zinn identifies what really caused the Civil War. It had nothing to do with slave. It had nothing to do with the morality of slavery. It had to do with money. The North, and in brief, what it was is the fucking North were the first people to have slaves. Matter of fact, Wall Street is built upon slavery. It was it's been identified in several scholarly documents that Wall Street was a place where slaves were sold in New York. So, long story short, the North made New England made its money off of slaves, and it flipped the money, put it into the industrial world, into businesses, into legit shit, just like a dope dealer putting their money into legit stuff. And by the time the North was up and running legit, it told the South, "Sorry, slavery's illegal." It had nothing to do with morality; it had to do with money. So basically, that's a real short version of why the Civil War popped off. But I'm gonna give a long version in another space, I promise. Well, now that you know this, what happened was Abraham Lincoln was getting his ass whooped by them Southern white boys. They was getting all up in that ass without lubricant. Um, Under the leadership of Robert E. Lee, West Point graduate Robert E. Lee was none to play with. And Lincoln was losing, so he reached out to Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass said, I'm gonna give you black men. However, I need some in return on their freedom." So basically, you had this tug of war going on where Abraham Lincoln, as an attorney, was outsmarted by somebody who didn't even finish elementary school, a genius named Frederick Douglass. He doesn't get enough credit because Frederick Douglass was Me Too'd. Anyway, long story short, Lincoln was forced to grant rules and laws that supported foundational Black Americans. Lincoln was killed for that, as I exposed in the last space. He was shot in the back of the head namely because of that. And Andrew Johnson, a Dixiecrat or a Democrat, went through reversing everything that Lincoln did for foundational Black Americans. He didn't do it for us; he was forced to do. That's an important distinction. And Black Americans without college degrees, without Greek organizations to go around screaming and hollering and stepping and stuff. Um, and I have my reservations about organizations because I think that they were created for the Black American community, and the organizations need to go back to their original functionality of helping the Black community. But that's going to be a whole nother space, and that happens to be something I know a lot about. I digress. Well, anyway, Johnson uh, was impeached and kicked out of office by Black women, Black men, old aunties and uncles, our great aunties, uncles, granddaddies, and grandmamas that didn't have college educations, had enough sense to vote for a Republican named Ulysses S. Grant, who was a fallout alcoholic. They knew that since Ulysses was a drunk, he'd be easy to manipulate. Look at all that sense we had. What happened to that sense, ladies and gentlemen? But long story short, they got Ulysses S. Grant in to pass Reconstruction for us, and given that fact, the FBAs have always been Republicans' golden ticket. We've always been the secret weapon because we vote as a block. Other groups don't vote as a block. The Hispanic vote, they vote to their best interest. I mean, they vote for their. I think
And
the
they're not humanitarians. Remember, they knew that their family members or others of their ilk were running across the border, but they didn't care. They just wanted to get there. So the Democrats banking on them being humanitarians is really a bad bet because Asians, Hispanics, Arabs, white people all split their votes. That's why our vote is talked about all the time, and these other people are worthless, including white people. We're the only people with a block vote. So, like I said, if you do us right and give us the piece of the pie we deserve because we built the country and we're part of the country, if you treat us right, you'll rule forever. You will rule forever. Whichever that party is, I prefer it to be the Republican Party. Just clean it up. Clean up your party.
Yeah, that's right,
Democrats
Wanya.
can't be cleaned up.
No,
Democrats
they can't.
are institutionalized perversion. They can't even root it out. I don't believe they can clean up. So I just prefer to hook up with the other side that has more potential in straightening up.
And if you look at scholarship, I'm coming to you, Nikki. But if you look at the scholarship, I'm sorry, but what Nikki said, it's from what I look at, it's true. It looks like the Democratic Party has always sent. Well, let me not say always. Let me say since Andrew Johnson, and definitely since Woodrow Wilson, been a party of gaslighting, of just saying I love you, I'm your friend, and then the policy turns around and fucks us up. So what does that mean? What are your thoughts on this, Nikki?
Well, Republican Party, they're just more straightforward. Even if they have some people who are racist, they are openly racist. The Democrat Party, you should not trust. You should be afraid of them actually, because they don't come out and tell you what their intentions are. They just gaslight you and send the Cardi B's and the booty shakers and the shake your booty for the pose, and they just gaslight you and play in your face instead of just telling you what's up and telling you how you feel, how they feel. Republicans, they just tell you what they want. They tell you what they came for. And I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not either party, but I'm growing to have more respect for the Republican Party because of the way that they have been upfront with us. And that's about all I have to say. But yeah,
Oh,
you on mute, Professor.
I'm talking through a mute. I do that so much. Our brother Tariq talks about this when he says it's better to just know what you're dealing with. It's so true. It's like, guys, when you have a disease, do you want the doctor to say, "Hey, everything's gonna be okay. Just go back to living as usual," and give you a hug and a kiss and twerk in the waiting room, or do you want the doctor to say, "Hey, you got an issue and we need to cut it out right now, or it might turn to cancer and kill you." We're in a time right now. We're in the age of Aquarius, ladies and gentlemen. It's a time and place where we need to get it straight. It needs to be given
Well,
to us straight.
the Democrats don't seem to be understanding that people don't want to be called inseminated persons or chest feeders or human milk givers or birthing bodies or partners, not wives with husbands, or renaming men and women. No, you're not renaming men and women ever. We're not going to be called cis anything. You need to go away. And if they continue to grip onto this, they're currently doing this now. They're currently, after being thrown under the bus in several 18 wheelers, okay? They're still doing stupid things. These people are mentally off. These septum rings, these weird hair colors, these weird bumpy face looks, these bug eyes, okay? These men in dresses and everything else, that's what's yelling at us from TikTok for the most part. It's a lot of weird people and they're very loud. They've gotten away with a lot in this country. A lot. I could even, we could go into the things they've gotten away with, but trust me, you don't want anything to do with it. You don't want men in women's swimming pools beating women upside the head in boxing matches. You don't want, did you see that video with Joy Reid where she was trying to justify discussing dildos with children?
Oh no, 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 no.
Yeah, I think I saw that. I'm getting pissed off.
What the
I'm
fuck is
pissed
wrong
off
with
because I'm
her?
about to make another AI of her ass.
And she was yelling and trying to handle this woman.
Hey, Wani, I
And
didn't see.
when
I
we,
didn't see this. Educate me on this. This is ridiculous.
I didn't get
He
the
just
whole
asked
dress
you to
reference.
educate him.
You know
Hell
what?
yeah, this
No.
crazy as fuck. This about to be a whole nother. This gonna be tomorrow's topic if y'all ain't careful.
Democrats have these coloring books. They have books on masturbation. They have books on gender change guidance. They have books on puberty blockers. And they want to convince people. They're not asking people, they're trying to convince little children. These are little kids. Uh, that they are, oh, you're trapped in the wrong body. So let's get you on some puberty blockers. Some girl probably climbed a tree. Oh, you want to be a boy. Maybe you accidentally touched your brother's truck, his toy truck. Oh, you want to be a boy. They're really losing their minds. And a lot of people want attention. And if they're boring and irrelevant and they are saying they're trans, and all of a sudden people will give them attention. I read an article that said transgenderism is a trend. It's a trend because it's popular. These people are not stuck in the wrong body, and but the things they're doing to themselves are irreversible. Cutting people's breasts off like they're doing it. They're not even removing the breast meat. They're chopping it off like a butcher.
Wani,
These
did you
people,
hear about that girl who got her breast cut off when she was about 12 years old, and now
ah,
she's
I
like
want
16, or she's somewhere between 16 and 19, and she's complaining and saying that she never wanted that.
Oh
Yes,
Well,
yes,
yeah.
there
I
is.
believe it.
Are you
I
talking about
believe it.
Dr.
Yes.
Jordan Peterson is in jeopardy of losing his medical his license to practice psychology because Jordan Peterson spoke out against, and I'm gonna be careful how I say this, ladies and gentlemen, but I think that's the same young lady. Are you talking about the young lady who was 12 years old and her mom was like looking for attention and kept taking her to the hospital?
That's
Yeah.
Munchausen's by proxy. All
Yeah,
the women with
Yes.
Munchausen's by proxy have popped out of the woodwork and have put their child into this because they can get attention for having a transgender child and they have to take medication forever and they have to get surgery. Oh, they love this. Let me tell you, they love giving their children surgeries. So now you've stimulated these weird mothers that have Munchausen's by proxy. We've had to put up
these
with
mothers whose
nudity.
husbands don't want them.
Right. I mean, it's we have to put up with nudity, not now, but we've had to put up with nudity in restrooms, dressing rooms, sports, locker rooms because men want to be in women's sports. They have exposed children to nudity and pride parades and just played it off. I literally saw a video of people having sex, and there was a child standing right there. There was nudity during the Olympics, and they got rid of the video and said, "Oh, that was a wardrobe
Y'all
malfunction."
That
don't
was
forget.
not a boardrobe malfunction because
I
I remember we kept
know
talking about that. That was
it was a
yeah, and why did they cut
testicle.
it? They took it off of Twitter. I don't know if you remember, or if that's what you're talking about, but
Oh yeah,
it's
that was it. And they
yeah.
use melanated immigrants because they're retarded. Yes, retarded. I'm bringing that word back. It's not banned anymore. To push all this deviancy and pretend like we're doing it. And we can't say anything because the Joy Reids of the world have their fucking ugly
It
face
isn't Joy Reid
pressed
mixed with
up.
Nigerian.
Nick, she's Congolese and Guyanese, and she
Oh,
needs to
Right.
go to
Yeah,
one of
Tariq was
those.
just talking about that. Yep.
She's not, she has nothing to do with America, but she
wow.
likes to get her distorted face on television, looking stupid as shit with her Trump comb over wig and pretend to be Black American,
Wow.
never mentioning her stupid background. These people are a menace.
Totally.
Take that back to your own country.
Don't forget about the breasts that was exposed in on the White House lawn in front of them children.
What was
Was that
that
a
about?
man? Was that
Yeah,
a
yeah,
man or a
yeah. It was
woman?
a. I don't know. I don't even know what the correct word is. I don't want to get canceled. It was
See that
a.
you
It was.
shouldn't have to feel like that on your own podcast. You're here to educate the people. You
Yeah,
shouldn't have
but
to
Was
feel
it a
like you
man?
can't say anything.
isn't that crazy? That's and if something ever came up, I would have the constitutional law battle of a century because I'm granted First Amendment rights, and I'm not. And just look at this. I'm not against anybody. I love all people, and I believe in personal liberty. But in this United States of America, I should not have to be fearful of what the fuck I say. I have First Amendment. That's the way it was set up. It was set up to where we could express our our
Mm-hmm.
yeah, ourselves.
And these parents sitting there with the drag queen story time. Again, I think a lot of this stuff is misplaced guilt because white people have been committing crimes against humanity, but now they feel like they have to be guilty if you're not accepting people molesting your children in the
This
classroom.
wow.
You have to be guilty because people are literally invading the country. Yeah, that has nothing to do with slavery. Get it together.
Right. It's projection. There's so much guilt and so much documented guilt. I mean, these folks were proud of being ignorant. You know what I'm saying? They created the word white supremacy, which is a fallacy. It's not even true, because white is a genetic state of recessiveness. Now, I didn't say less than, but I did say recessive. White is recessive, so a recessive gene cannot be supreme. That's biology 101, ladies and gentlemen. You learn that
Oh,
shit in high school.
it
But
is a collection, a persistent collection of mutations: blonde hair, lighter skin, blue eyes,
but
and
they
straight hair.
but they
Those are
cre-
all mutations.
they created the word supremacy. So
Well,
I'm saying the
it-
word that they said, and you get in trouble for saying the fucking word that you invented. This is insanity. Where is it going to end?
Not to mention when we weren't looking, and this is coming all out of academia. We already had this discussion of how this is all Freudian garbage
Right.
that these people brought over here, sexology, and they just have run amok within academia, and it has turned into um, feminism and all of this stuff. Yeah, women did need rights. They needed a right to have a bank account, they needed a right to go get education, and they needed the right to vote. That's it. They don't need all this other junk because what are feminists doing? Does anyone know? What do they do? Just look weird with septum rings on? Is that their shtick? Because
It's
that's
they are
basically
like
all I've
that little
seen.
sister who wants to do what everybody else is doing. I feel like they want to do what they see the white men do. They want to have power to rule over people like white men do.
Well, they have morphed women's rights. The suffragists are not feminists. Suffragists and women's rights are completely different than feminists. And then, of course, black women have to copy. Oh, I'm a womanist. Shut up.
Well,
Okay, shut up.
one of you identified in a several about 12 spaces ago. Didn't you identify that the feminist movement was really more about another agenda?
Yes, what it is, it's a cover for what it is that when you get women together that are complaining about rights they don't have, guess what? You're getting them at a vulnerable position. So someone who's gay can tippy toe in there and hang out with a bunch of irritated women. Oh, we don't want men because we
Right.
can't vote. And they are predators. How else are they going to get dates? They're known to be predators, all of them. Okay?
Angela Davis, who is from a very prominent family in my conservative hometown of Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham is very conservative. The culture of Birmingham, even as a couple years ago, was about getting married. You still got kids every time, which is not always a good thing. We're getting married. We're gonna get. What's your husband? That's where I'm from. Well, Angela was sent to the black neighborhood in Birmingham promoting feminism to black women as if it was, and she was equating feminism to the civil rights movement with black people, only to find out that Angela wasn't even concerned with men.
Right. This is the same thing Billy D. Williams. This is the same thing Billie Jean King did. She promoted herself. Oh, I'm just a tomboy playing tennis, and these bad men won't let me compete with them, and I'm probably better tennis player than them. Ha ha ha, let's watch all these exhibitions. The whole time she was a lesbian. She was married to a man, but she had lesbian feelings and she took women right over the cliff. They were like, oh, yeah, maybe we should want to play tennis against men. Maybe we should want to be lumberjacks. Maybe we are men. You see how that works?
Yep.
These women are sneaky. They're predators. They're sheep. They're wolves in sheep clothing. As soon as they get you on board, then they come out of the closet and act like, what's the big deal? They've all done that over and over and over again. It has nothing to do with women's rights. Women have rights in the United States of America. Now, perhaps, because I've tried to help women in the Middle East with their rights, with their female genital mutilation, with their getting rocks thrown upside their head, all of that. You know what they told me in the end? Our men take care of
Right.
us
Mind your
and
business.
mind your business and whatever. So, what it is these women are not from our lineage. Now, America is its own lineage. And it's
Right.
come to the conclusions that it needed to come to for their women to have rights. But on the other side, these women have not come to that conclusion. So they can get hit in the head with rocks, slapped upside the head, sold to somebody. That's their plight. They're going to have to evolve into something else. I don't know. It has nothing to do with me. I don't live there. I don't know where they come from. I don't know what got them to where they are now, but it is in fact their fight. It's the woman in the South America's fight. It's the Caribbean woman's fight. It's not our fight. They can't come here and assume our our work. It doesn't fit on them. It's a bad fit. And they don't fit into what we're doing here. They belong over in their own countries doing their own thing.
You're hitting on something so hard and so tough, Wani. I have friends. I did a training with the Marine Corps. I am not a U.S. Marine, but I was selected in a special program to train with the U.S. Marines, and I fell in love with them, by the way. But I got Marines friends who were stationed in Afghanistan, and they told me, they said they were on special operation, and they said they would see children being little boys, for Christ's sake, being abused, dressed like girls, being abused in houses, and my Marine buddies was like, we wanted to kick in the door, like they would be in the fucking house and it would be happening, and they said they wanted to just kick in the door and like stop it, but they were told to mind their business because it's part of the dominant culture. That's what you're dealing with these people that come over here from these countries. They have their own.
That was the Marines, right? There's plenty of articles online to show you that people literally got so irritated they had to retire because they couldn't tell on these people. They said these men are heavily armed. They even recently asked the Afghani government, um, what's up? I thought you were going to ban this. And they said those men are heavily armed. And I will point out that I have researched this phenomena of raping little boys, which I mean, I can't even go into it right now, but it's deep.
Right.
It's deep and it's been going on thousands of years. It's really prevalent in these societies where they tuck the women away, like, oh, the women are clean and good, and all they do is have the babies and cook food. And then we go out and party, right? There's no women to party with. You told them to all go in the house. Well, guess who is outside?
Little
Some little
boy.
boy. And that's how that has happened. It actually happened in the Greco-Roman Empire as well. They had the women tucked away, but they had uh like prostitutes, the female prostitutes. But guess who was hanging out with the free female prostitutes? Little boys. You're not going to believe this,
Jeez.
but over in the Aztec civilization, they had the House of Women. That was institutionalized prostitution. Guess who was over there with them? Little boys. That's the Aztec civilization. It doesn't have anything to do with the Greco Roman civilization,
Wow.
supposedly, but it's the same identical thing. You will find these little boys hanging out in these female prostitution situations, and but in Afghanistan, because they are so harsh on those women, and when I say harsh, I mean one woman was playing soccer and they cut her head off. They removed her head. So when I say harsh, I mean very harsh. And so they have them tucked away for real. So there's no random prostitutes walking around Afghanistan servicing anyone. The only thing out there is little boys, and they are harming them. When you're raping a child, that evil doesn't go anywhere.
No, it does
They're
not.
just going to grow up and be viciously weird and evil, just like these guys right here that are doing it. So it's really a circle jerk of hell.
I don't know what to say behind that, Wani. I saw somebody new, Harlem Girl. Number one, first and foremost, are you from Harlem? Harlem Girl, can you hear me?
Hello, Harlem girl. How you doing, huh?
Can you
You
hear
can
me?
speak. You can come off your You can come off your mic.
I've never seen Harlem Girl before. While Harlem Girl gets it together, go ahead, Seven Forward. It's good to see you, bro. Hadn't seen you in a minute.
Yeah. I miss the, I usually chill out on the weekends, but uh, but yeah, you were talking about this sexual deviancy of a lot of that in America. A lot of that goes back to a zoologist named Alfred Kinsey and his research, which was highly unethical. For some of the things he did. But uh, but before his research, homosexuality by psychologists was considered to be a mental disorder. And after his research, which normalized homosexuality, they changed the definition to be that homosexuality it's a natural thing. It's not a mental disorder, and I think they just decided this by a vote. I don't think they really had a. Uh, I well, okay. I don't know if they had a debate, but yeah. So a lot of that goes back to him. I yield the mic.
Well, what you said was really important. Me and Wani had a real epic space. It was epic where we were talking about Freud. I got so sick and tired. I studied educational psychology in graduate school at one of the country's leading programs, and even though I was at one of the country's leading programs, like I just started to like say, wait a minute, this is bullshit. Like all those theories they call them the dead white guys, Freud, Piaget, Jung,
Yeah,
Vygotsky.
yeah, I remember that space.
That shit is that is bullshit. And Wani brought up the made me see something that was right in front of my face. I couldn't see it. That these group of people were behind all fucking almost all deviancy in the United States. They were um
Hmm.
normalizing deviancy and normalizing
Yes.
sexual. Freud was a fucking pedophile weirdo who sexually did sexual experiences on his goddamn daughter. So what is he going
Hmm.
to teach me about the human mind? His mind was abnormal, and that's what we're looking at abnormal behavior. Now, the reason why I brought that up, Seven, is we were talking about a little girl. Her name escapes me early, but Jordan Peterson is in the process right now of losing his license because as a psychologist, and I'm not a licensed psychologist, by mind you, but as a psychologist, I'm paraphrasing him. He said something like the little girl was 12 and she was having problems with her body, the change, the change, hormones change. And Jordan said her mom and the doctors immediately said, "Nope, you're a boy trapped in a girl's body. You're a boy." And Jordan said he spoke up as a licensed psychologist who taught at Harvard, for Christ's sake. He said, "No, no, 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 no." He said body dysmorphia is normal amongst children, especially females, because you have a change of life. I remember when I was a little boy, when things changed. When I hit puberty, I was confused. Jordan was saying that's normal. Let her make the choice. But Jordan said that basically, I'm paraphrasing Jordan. He said, no, 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 no. He said, people are trying to push a whole nother agenda. And to my understanding, Dr. Jordan Peterson was saying that it's again, it's the pharmaceutical industry trying to push some type of financial agenda at the cost of our goddamn children. And he said he was going to lose. He said, "I'm going to lose my license because of this. I don't mind doing it." And for that reason, I know Jordan has some seemingly anti-black sentiment, but I can stand behind him because he's willing to put his his profession on the line to stand for what's right. You don't go around doing mutilating, excuse me. And that little girl now, sure enough, she said, "Nope, I never wanted it." Um, uh, she felt forced into it, and now she's trying to transition back into a little girl. But you, but you can all. I'm
Well,
not laughing at her. I'm laughing.
one boy killed himself
Wow,
because of this. And a lot of them have killed themselves because what are they judging it by? Like they're judging.
nothing. Right,
One
thin
woman
air.
did a one woman did a 30-minute consultation, and the girl ended up getting all kinds of surgeries and drugs.
But the little girl, Wani, the little girl, if I forget her name, I'm gonna find her while on next person speaks and put her in a jumbotron. She's now a young woman. She's like maybe 20 or something like that. And being on those hormones and having whatever procedure the doctors gave her, like she doesn't really look as feminine, and she looked like she had the potential to be a beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? But it derailed her. Like it permanently damaged her. It's this shit is who's
And these doctors are being held, these doctors that are just butchering people's breasts and adding penises and removing penises, they're not getting sued. What is that? How are
right.
they not getting sued?
My line in the sand, the stand is for children, and children need adults to speak out for them. And when you got some parents, like you said, that have that condition where they need
I'm good. I
attention.
can look for one. What floor you on?
Oh, okay,
I'll look for one.
yeah,
Floor.
you got those doctors that, I mean,
Okay.
those parents that need attention. What's it called again, Wani?
They just now
Munch,
hooking him up. He been home. He been. Wait a
Oh,
minute.
Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Munchausen's by proxy,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You got parents with that, man. Oh man, I can't tell you how many
A lot
parents.
of them go on to just calve babies and kill them.
Yeah,
Yes, they do.
it's ridiculous. We need a child
One woman
advocacy group.
killed. One woman killed 11 children and they only caught her because she adopted a black child after she ran out of her own, killed him, and they said, "That's it. You know, you're a weirdo." And she just kept, she wanted attention. She just wanted people to feel sorry for her and go to funerals.
Right. It's this shit is sick, and I have in my career I've bumped into that. Turning your child into like some type of it's like grow up. Most of the time you see it in sports with men, what I'm saying? They're pushing their boy to be he gonna be the next ball player. Well, why are you doing that? Is it because he like ball? No, it's because your ass failed at it. Let your child be a child, man.
Because that's trifling to not have him hooked up.
I can't hear you.
Nikki, I can barely hear you, baby. Oh, I think she was talking to one of her colleagues. Soheem, what's on your mind, bro?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say that maybe I'm a bit naive, or maybe I'm a bit like not understanding, but I just want to take a quick moment to highlight Wani, because I didn't know her background. I didn't know. I mean, I've heard her speak, and we've all spoken to her, and she always contributes to the spaces, but I didn't know like her actual background, as far as like her being the first, FBA woman to visit every
Yeah,
country in
Wani hot
America.
shit
So
now.
I didn't know. I honestly did not know that. So I say that to say, where let me look real quick. Okay, so we got 4 days left of the month. I think that personally, this is just a recommendation for me, that I think that we should dedicate a space just to Wani, because I think Wani is uh Black history personified. I think that she's in the same conversation as, any other FBA uh icon that our children have been taught in schools and in history books, like a Rosa Parks, like a Sojourner Truth, whoever you want to name. I think that her name, as far as modern times goes, in that same situation, and I just want to, just pay homage to her, because I did not know, and because I know now, I have so many questions just about her experience. So I just think before Black History Month is over, um, in 2025, that we just dedicate a space to her, because for other people like me, the family, other people in the spaces who didn't know her background, who didn't know who she was, what she's contributed to our culture from her experiences, just to have a space to where we can ask her questions, uh, ask about her experiences, her knowledge, her wisdom. She already does that already, but I just really would like to take a opportunity to just make a space before Black History Month is over, that is just kind of based around her. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Wani, no pun intended, because you're Wani Spots, but I think that'll be very special for our lineage and for our culture, because I didn't know. I Like I said, there's many other people who probably didn't know,
I'll tell you
and
what, Soheem, I'll do that. I'll make on the last day of this month. Y'all remind me to have a day for our current to honor our well, we'll just honor our heroes, both alive and past, because we lost a Black history icon that I used to listen to every day this month. Well, isn't it ironic that Neely Fuller died during Black History Month?
yeah, that's all I was saying. I really didn't know her background, and I just really take that very serious, and very it's very dear to my heart, specifically because, how often do you get to talk to people, and as all of us have contributed to our lineage, but how often do you get to speak to someone who is documented in history, to visit every country in the world? That's phenomenal, and that's something that I think that should be highlighted, that everybody from the family should know about. And I just think we should dedicate a space to, before Black History Month is over, to just kind of, I guess, do like a Q&A. I mean, I think it'll be great for all of us to have, a foundational Black American legend like her to just kind of give us some insight and just speak to us about her experiences and her, trials and tribulations and her knowledge, and just give us some insight. So that's all I want to say.
Yeah, and I will brag. We love Wani, and she's outstanding. Nikki, all of y'all, I'm honored to be around y'all. I'm honored to be around Arthur and Seven Ford and what I'm saying, and Welsing, and I mean, like I don't know if y'all know it, but I'm honored to even be around you guys. And Mikhail, and it's an honor. But I'm gonna brag on our lineage right quick. Foundational Black Americans, we uh, are self almost self-sacrificial to our own group. I want to let y'all know how rare Wani is, how rare Judge Joe Brown is. Let me, if you look at uh found a white American icon, they don't be up in spaces talking to their people with for free. You know what I'm saying? We'll have a lot to be proud of, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to say. And I'm honored to be around
That
them.
that that's what I was getting at. Like she does this. That's what I'm saying. Like if I hadn't have done my research, I would have never known. Like one, you're not a pompous person or a boastful person. you know, if people don't go and do their research, you will never know. And that's just really special to me, and it really, me being on the path and the journey that I'm on, it really just, reinforces to me that it's not about us talking about ourselves. It's just about us being able to go and do the research and going and see the work that was done by our people. If you wanted to, if one he wanted to, she can pop shit every single space, every single time, make everything about her if she really wanted to. And the level of humility that she has, I just take that, you know, and use it for myself to better to better myself. And I'll land with that.
Thanks, Soheen.
Oh yeah, no doubt, bro.
Yeah, thank you. I really just am here to help, not to talk about that. We can talk about it. We can have a Q and A on it for one day, but I don't want it to make people feel, you know, like they have to focus on it, because the focus is on our lineage and that's it. That's where I want the focus to be.
Well, since Soheen brought it up, I'm gonna put Wani Spot's Cash App in the jumbotron. Y'all show her love, and I'm also gonna put Nikki's in the jumbotron. But I'm gonna work on that, having a space um, to where we can really give our icons props, because we're not always guaranteed to have them forever. I thought I would have Neely Fuller on them. I would listen to him on trips. You never know.
And yeah, and I'll try to see if I can get some special guests to come because I know what that could be a precursor to. I'm coming up with ideas for that space
Good
already.
idea, Soheen. Nick.
Yeah, before just before Black History Month is over, I just think we should just really just do one big space where we can just get Wani and just anybody who you guys feel like we can, kind of just all get in a space and just really just talk and kind of fellowship with one another and just, share ideas. And we have a big future as a lineage, and I feel like just collectively we are we have grown so far as a lineage, as a family. And I just think that will really, just kind of set the tone for what we're gonna do going forward as a lineage.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna tell y'all everything I know, but I know a thing or two, and I'll tell you it's our turn. 2025 is really a big old nine. When you collapse 2025, 2 plus 0 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 5 is 9. This is a 9 year. Nine is symbolic of the ending. 9 months, a baby. It's time for the baby to come. 9 planets around the sun. Gravity is keeping your ass on planet Earth at 9.8 meters per second. Nine plus eight is what, you know. Anyway, it's our time, and everybody knows it, which is why the system of white supremacy is yielding to us. There's nothing they can do about it. Ladies, I can't tell who was next. Was it Agent Jiro or John Horse?
I'm not sure.
Um,
Go ahead, John.
I just know that John Horse has a creepy looking picture, so I
That's his
should make him
regular
wait. Go
face.
ahead.
That's actually him.
Come on, John.
Nah, man, you know, man, Chucky, my favorite character, man. Yeah, but no, hey, look, how's everybody doing tonight? I actually want to push back on something. I actually would like to say that Nelly Fuller is alive and well. His message it has penetrated our community the way that it needs to, and that's going to continue to live on. You know, for him, you know, being able to, um, you know, really push through with the message about us getting on code and having a code of conduct and waging a counter war against white supremacy. You know, that's gonna, you know, his he has become lionized within our within the grassroots. So it's one of those things. He has become an ancestor, but he his there's always this saying, like I know, like my grandparent, like my grandmother, she was saying, I can help you more for where I'm going. I can help you more where I'm going than me just being here. You know what I'm saying? So his message, you know what I'm saying, has most definitely helped us getting this far and what we've been able to accomplish so far and within such a short amount of time. You know, I mean, hell, just look at Dr. Claude Anderson. His messages, penetrating through and, us getting on code just through our lineage, that alone, what I'm saying, has changed so much for us in such a little time. So I just can't wait to see what the future holds. But I'll say this, speaking about Dr. Claude Anderson, I think the golden ticket for Republicans or Democrats is reparations. That's the only golden ticket that's going to keep them in office for the next 100, 200 years. That's the only golden ticket that's going to keep them in. If they're not speaking about it at this point, you know what I'm saying, both parties can just,
No, they too stubborn. They too stubborn. They keep trying
yep.
to they keep trying to play with our faces. They just not gonna get
Yeah,
it. I'm done
you
with them.
know, and I think I was reading Sun Tzu or something like that, where they were sitting there saying, a foolish king that's, just, tyrannical, they would rather destroy their kingdom and rule over the ashes versus to just do the right thing. And that's what we're dealing with. They would rather rule over the ashes of a fallen kingdom versus to give us reparations. But you know what, it is what it is, because that's going to actually prove and show the world who's the actual true patriots of America, and that's us.
Well,
Patriotism is a part of our culture.
And I'm starting to see, and I'm not throwing shade because I am congratulating everybody who worked with us because the this part of the black grassroots, we are the ones who made it happen. But there were some more people who were more dedicated, who were more outwardly, I guess you would call them more loyal to the Republican Party, and they kind of been throwing that in our face
right.
because we were more like, hey, hey, we're not Democrats, but we don't know about just saying I'm a Republican, so we're just gonna sit on the couch. And
Mhm.
then now they're all like, well, now you weren't really riding with the Republicans like
Were
we
they
were, and
were they
now
like
we're
the
at this.
diamond and silk types?
Yeah, and I'm trying my best to
Yes-ish.
not say
Yes-ish.
names.
Yes,
Yeah,
ish.
it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just checking.
and I'm like, why should I be loyal to either party when all of them are white supremacists?
Exactly. And see, that's the thing that overrides patriotism. See, they don't care about no flag. They don't care about red or blue. The only thing they care about is white.
Right.
If it ain't white, I don't give a fuck about no green. Fuck green money. No, it's about white. If I'm white and I got green money and I'm red, white, and blue, then everything else. No, whiteness is king for them.
That's
And every time I get into arguments with white supremacists about IQ, they always talk about black people having IQs, and I always tell them this: Y'all don't even have an IQ number. You have an IQ color. You don't even have a number. Your IQ is a fucking color. It's just white.
If y'all
You don't
ever
even have a fucking number.
if y'all ever see a space with Diane Yap or anybody arguing IQ, summon me, have a seance, and bring me into the circle. Like I'm
Well,
dead fucking serious.
No matter
No,
whose space
no
it is,
matter.
no matter whose space
I'm
it is, you take
coming.
on me.
I'm
Okay?
coming
I
like
want
an
to.
evil spirit. Like check this out. Like IQ. I went to graduate school. I sat in a PhD cohort on that shit by one of the best professors on the planet on that. And as it turns out, IQ is a bunch of bullshit. There are multiple intelligences, and IQ is just one of them. IQ basically is based off of information processing. Basically means remembering random ass facts, which Caucasian people and Asian people are really good at doing. There are multiple intelligences, but long story short, if that ever comes up, just come find me.
Okay,
I
so
got
if
you.
Chinese people are smarter than us, why is it that they don't have all those inventions here in
But
America? They were
they're
here.
better at remembering random information. Well, here goes the problem.
They're not creative. That's why they're always
Exactly.
stealing.
Yeah, and white folks ain't come. And they white folks did not come on the scene and enslave none of their asses. They was like, no, we about to take these niggas because the niggas
No.
is building shit that we've never seen, and they got bomb ass food and all this other stuff. So it's like, yeah, they, and that's what makes them guilty. That's where their guilt comes from. They understand that um everything, in our story here as foundational Black Americans, white society is the bad guy, and they don't like that. They've been for 500 years marketing themselves as the good guys, but anytime our history comes along, or anytime something that we do comes up, when the world looks at us and they look at our story, the dominant society, they're the bad guys. And that's the issue that they have. That's the thing that really chaps their ass. They eat our food tastes the way that it does, and the things that we've created is because of the scraps that they gave us.
Hey,
Just little stuff
Professor.
like that. The music that we've created comes out of the pain and the things that they've done to us. It's all the negative stuff that they've done to us, we've turned into positives, and the world like enjoys it, and they understand that literally, yeah, they're the bad guys,
Hey,
and they
Professor.
want to
Before I
portray.
forget it,
Yeah,
before I forget it, you just made a huge point that I never. I thought about it, but I never really was able to articulate it the way you just did. But basically, random information doesn't necessarily equal to intelligence.
No, it doesn't.
Basically,
No, 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 it doesn't. And these groups, a lot of these groups, and as Wani has pointed out, from an anthropological standpoint, and please interrupt me if I'm wrong, Wani. They're from the same region, I think, aren't they? Caucasians, and because environment, what you learn in graduate school educational psychology is environment is everything. We call it the big E. And Asians and Caucasian, they're part of the same word. Asian, Caucasian, they're from they're
Mhm.
from the same area.
Central Asia and the Caucasus for some of them. Yeah,
And
they just divided
I'm
themselves.
not taking anything away from them. I'm just saying that according to the school books and the research, they're really good at remembering shit that's already been done. We have our intelligence is going to spatial relations, like deep fucking Star Wars type shit. Our ancestors could tell by the alignment of the stars when you plant seeds to get a greater yield. And long story short, we're good at creating stuff, and you see it really good in art. Art has in language functions. You have that's where creativity is born. Like create, design, imagine. Our when you look at art, like visual art, and Dr. Shahrazad Ali has talked about this. When you look at European art, they're really good at making something that's already there. Like Andy Warhol, he would take some shit that was already there, like a Coca-Cola can or some shit, and just redraw it to make it look as real as possible. That's real cool, but if you think about it, he ain't creating shit. He's just doing what's already there. Where our talent goes into reaching into that darkness, that collective unconscious, baby, and coming up with something new that ain't nobody ever seen before. And what do?
yeah,
Like breakdancing, what do? They study it and then they start trying to use that IP, that IQ shit of, oh, let me do, okay, these are the rules to breakdancing. Where breakdancing came from the collective unconscious. It came from the darkness. It's just like they say, black man, black woman, you're a god.
Yeah, like we, and
So so
that's a part of our culture. We just come on the scene, and that's the thing that scares them about reparations, because that's what makes us creative. We question everything. We have a resistance to everything. It's like, well, these other groups, including white society, they kind of accept things for they accept things for the way that they are. They always, okay, well, this is just how stuff is. A janitor, okay, they're supposed to make $7 an hour, and then we'll come along and then we'll say, well, who said that they're supposed to do this? Why can't we just do it this way? Well, how about we just try it this way? Well, no, how about we always try to push the boundaries with whatever it is that we create. Even when it comes to business, we're always trying to find a lane or something to just make it better. That's just a part of our experience. We just always try to figure out, how do we make things better. And I land.
so Professor, I have a question for you. So as far as curriculum is concerned, and I'm not uh abreast to everything, but someone like yourself, maybe a couple other educators, is there any type of curriculum that's established from someone like yourself that would apply to like K through 12, like a homeschooling kind of curriculum? And I mean, I literally mean K through 12. I know that's a wide range, but that, someone who wants to do like homeschool and who doesn't necessarily want to put their children through the public school system, is
Well,
there
yeah,
some
yeah,
sort?
yeah, yeah. So if you look at the jumbotron, I put our story publications, put $25 on it, put your full mailing address and name and zip code, and I'll send you. I have a curriculum for history, where I have high language functions for Black children, and it's for ages 9 through 119. So maybe fourth grade to the day you die. So yeah, it's in a curriculum. I created it, and I got more coming out. But we're going short on time, so we're gonna go ahead and go with Juicy. But thank you for the question, man. Go ahead, Juicy.
Hey, family. Didn't want to take too much time.
No, you're good. You're good. Uh-oh. I said you're good, Juicy. Go ahead. Oh, did her thing get cut?
She's a listener. Hold
I
on.
didn't put her there. She probably got dropped down.
Yeah,
Juicy, when you come
no.
back, we'll bring you right back.
She should be back up now.
All right, come on, Juicy.
I think I got kicked down.
It's all
Sorry.
good.
Um, yes. Hey, everybody. Peace and power to the family in the space. Shout out to all the descendants. Happy Black History Month as we're wrapping up. This is the last week. I've been traveling all weekend, so I've got conversations with folks on the back channel of things I want to follow up with. But I did want to elaborate on the title and not take too much time to do so in regards to Black Americans voting more in alignment with their values and their beliefs. A lot of people know, like I say, I like to like remind people, and y'all hear me say this a lot in spaces, is that there's extremisms in every viewpoint, right? Extremisms in every ideology. Somebody's going to take the left too far. Somebody's going to take the right too far. You're going to have people who are extremist culturally, socially, economically, technologically. There's just extremisms, right? And so the thing that we want to do is get to a nice place where we're balanced. I'm a Libra, so I'm just big on balancing out as much as we can in life and people that we have in our lives. But as far as what we've been sticking to the code of conduct is policy over party, but we have to realize and accept the fact that there's going to be some liberal minded FBAs and there's going to be some conservative minded FBAs, and people are going to align with that and they're going to vote according to that. Um, but because we have been conditioned as a people through propaganda, through mass media, that the Republican Party is inherently racist, um, it takes away the belief that racism is just as bad or even worse in the Democratic side. You know what I mean? Like we have been told the general consensus. Like when I'm out around just my people, just around black people, they just believe, oh, everything that's Republican is racist. And if you are aligned with the Republican Party in any way, or if you vote for a Republican candidate, or support anything that's Republican, you're a Sambo, you're a coon, you're kind of all this other shit. But we have to explain to people that you're it's a lack of knowledge or the and lack of knowledge plus the misinformation about a particular party. People make up the party, right? And so we have to be pro-black. I am a pro-black conservative. I lean more to the right politically. And a few years ago I didn't know the difference between Democrat and Republicans. They all looked the same. It was the same bird. I didn't really see my place, or I didn't know enough to really position myself. So I had to literally take political classes like Teslin's class and learn. And that's the thing. We have to become more politically intelligent and not just go off of what you hear on CNN. If CNN is the only channel that you watch, you're only got a one-sided view about what's happening in politics and you believe everything. And so you go off into your social media platform spewing off misinformation, partial information,
Well,
narratives.
can I interject right quick, new Juicy, because you brought up something really important. And me and Wani were talking about the other day. We brought up what we discovered was that the Democratic Party was highly aligned for a lot of reasons with Sigmund Freud and the academics. Forget the pop in the background; it's a fireplace. But academics like Sigmund Freud and well, anyway, long story short, Juicy. It's a reason why the entertainment industry and psychology is aligned with the Democratic Party, and it's a reason why it's used on us because they're all in the same. It goes back to German theorist, German. I'm being nice with this German psychologist, but I digress. I just wanted to point out that it's all related.
No, I appreciate footnotes or any additions. I don't mind that, especially if we're having an intellectual discussion because we need to come up with initiatives to re-inform and re-educate. Conservatism looks like the new wave is more popular now with Black conservatives and different things like that. Culturally, it's like, oh, okay, let's make conservatism cool. Which is why I'm the treasurer for conservative culture, which is Michaela Montgomery's political action committee, where she was in that viral post of her and Sharice, right? So you have a younger demographic, a younger generation who proudly boast their Christian values, views that are pro life and pro arms and pro America. Just because I'm a Black American and I love the United States and I don't plan on leaving or moving, and if I do travel outside the country to a foreign land, it's for vacationing and excursions and experiences, and not because I hate my country, I hate my culture, I hate my people, and I'm going to denounce it to be here. That's not the same thing, right? So when people talk about Black Americans, if y'all love America so much, don't go to none of our countries. Well, y'all fled, y'all left y'all country on purpose, and y'all don't plan on going back. And if we tell you to go back, you don't want to. But then you tell us we're wrong for going to visit and put some money into y'all's country, which y'all won't do. But anyway, that's a whole nother separate situation, which that needs to be a debate that needs to be opened up because we are proud Americans doesn't mean that we aligned with racist ideology. Okay, you have to separate Black Republicans from Black conservatives, Black evangelicals, Black a white aligning. You have the old Republicans and you have new Republicans, right? There's old, but you know what? I have to tell everybody that's in this space and people who are listening on the backside. One thing I learned about white people on the Republican side, they hate they hate when Black people literally go against their own people, because if they can't trust you amongst your own, they can't trust you with them. If you will denounce and mistreat your own people just to get further ahead with white people, they'll use you, yeah, but they'll toss you out with the trash. So that's one of the things that I noticed with old school Republicans. They want white alignment, which there's a lot of Black immigrants that are on the Republican side because they want white alliance. They want to be allegiance to white. The United States is not an allegiance to white people. Being a black American and being a Republican or being a conservative has nothing to do with me want to be in allegiance with white people. I don't trust you on the Democratic side. I don't trust you on the Republican side. If you are racist, white nationalist, white supremacist, whatever the case is, you fall on both sides. It's just the way you move is different, right? So I don't want people to get so caught up in the old way of the Republican Party. Think about what it is that you want to do and move strategically. So if you run for office as a Republican, you have a better chance of winning. Why? Because we have a Republican led administration right now. So it makes sense. It's okay. Right now, black people as a whole over the next 2, 3 years, they're going to learn because we're going to unveil, the truth will be revealed, and they're going to learn that the Democratic Party has been using black American women are the face of black women to destroy our whole nation. And I know a lot of people may not take that the right way, but it is the truth. Look at the lady with the bald head. Look at Miss Jasmine Crockett. Look at who they continue to prop up on their side to convince America that what is happening now is the end all be all. We're going back to slavery times. We're going to be picking cotton. Y'all are fed a narrative that you're feeding to people, and y'all the only one who believe it. And you got black women looking bad. This is not a representation of me. Having 15 abortions is not a representation of black American womanhood, motherhood. Sorry, I don't want these type of people representing or speaking on my behalf. So it will be a little, a little war against black women because conservative black women are finna come up to liberal black women and saying, hey, you all have been misrepresenting us as a whole, and y'all need to fall back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, you're going to see more black women speak up on the Republican side. Yes, I feel like if you are more conservative, that you look at establishing your own space and then continue to speak about your imperative legislations. Learn how to speak legislatively. You can't take your communications that you have when you're protesting out on the streets into the offices with Congress members and senators. You have to speak legislatively. You can't be on protest of vote or die or reparations or else. You can't. That's not the space for that. That's for, that's for protest. You know what I mean? But when you're sitting down with lawmakers, it's like, okay, so how do we make this happen? Make it make sense and put it in deal format. But maybe we can have a space to talk about political strategy, maybe not a space at all. Maybe it's something we do on Zoom because I don't think we need to hold this publicly. My bad. Let me take that back. Nikki, the guy, the professor, like, hold on. I forgot. We're not supposed to be talking about strategy on, social media. I remember that. But it's important because there's people who really want to know what to do and how to leverage these 4 years. It's not about sitting back and crying, whether you don't align with any party. Sitting back and complaining about what the fuck going on is not going to move us forward. This is the time you sit
But
back and you strategize.
Juicy, you seem like you're qualified though. I would love to see you. I know that you're very busy, but and I know that you aren't. I'm not saying do everything that Tesla is doing, but I would love to see you. Host at least some small Zoom sessions or classes. I would sign up for them. I would definitely participate in it if you want to host some
I
classes.
would do like a poll, you know what I'm saying? Because I learned a lot. Thank you, Nikki to God. I really appreciate it, and I honor you so much for that. Because I don't see, I don't see myself as a leader either. You know what I'm saying? I just
No, I support everything you do.
I
No,
just
go
I
ahead.
just want to share what I know because I'm not a hoarder of knowledge. That's another thing that I've learned that when we are working against each other, not everyone, but there's some who literally work against each other, against ourselves, we can't progress forward if we have no unification, no matter if it's politically, socially, financially. We learned group economics through Dr. Claude Anderson. We're at we're the last of this era to be able to still have access to these elders. They're transitioning into the ancestral lane. We have to preserve their messaging, and we have to take advantage of the time that we have with them now because we don't know how much longer we have with them. Our sister Shahrazad Ali's, and they're still here with us in this realm, but there's more years behind them than in front of them, and this is a reality that we have to accept. So we have to preserve their knowledge, and we have to reiterate, and we have to use these mediums that we have through social media to continue on their messages and their scholarship, right? But then we have a new generation or the next wave of intellectuals and scholars that represent us, and we have to elevate them, the Sister Wanis and the professors, and we have to elevate them. You know what I mean? Because we when it's time to hear about the plight of our people in totality, we need our most intellectual, most balanced, emotional, and most professional people to do so. And whatever, I mean, right now I'm kind of working on a Black American Heritage Tour because I want to bring my people to the places that I've been so that we have that connection to the soil and our connection to that land. And that's what I've been working on. But I may just have to sit down, even if I partner with Teslan or just communicate with her about how I can maybe bring her in because it's nonpartisan. You know what I'm saying? It's not specific to any political party. That's the class that she took. And so or it wasn't even about any specific policy. You know what I'm saying? So I could break it down and say, okay, let's talk about the top 5 policies as Black Americans. What do we want? And then how we strategically turn that into legislation. But yes, thank you for allowing me to speak again. I didn't want to be long winded. I will be hosting a space with one of my sisters in here, which we're actually working on our fintech and crypto um, uh, I would say content. I should say I don't like content because content could be anything at this point, but they've watered down the word content so much that you don't even learn anything from content. You're just watching videos. But we need to be in an information era right now where we're soaking up knowledge and then an activation era where that knowledge that we're soaking in, we're literally activating ourselves to execute the knowledge that we've acquired to make things happen in reality for us. So I yield my mic. Thanks so much for allowing me to speak.
Wonderful. Thank you. As always, Juicy, and make sure you share that space with us. So, and send it to me. I'll send it out so I can, we can
I
make an
may just
appearance and
come in and
support.
co-host with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Just maybe come in as a co-host possibly, or I hosted and you guys, I just want to keep I truly appreciate you all being consistent and hosting spaces on a regular basis where we can come in and we can convene and learn and share and open up and discuss things that matter to us as a people. So, I don't like to reinvent the wheel. I just jump on a train and keep going with y'all. So, we can discuss it on the back channel, however we can do it. No worries.
Right on. Right on. So I'm gonna get a couple more speakers, and then I'm gonna call it a night from the old lady getting my ass. Let's see. She like, we need to go to bed. FBA Trade Day. It's good to hear you, man. Go ahead and blow our minds right
What up?
quick.
What up, man? Y'all was talking about Diane and the IQ thing. What up, Wani? What up, Nikki?
Hey.
What up? What up? Man, look, I'm gonna keep it quick. But Diane, man, she's I kind of tripped her up last year. They like to make the argument that IQ is genetic and all that, but Asian people, particularly Chinese people, they really don't have a leg to stand on with that argument. They were a third world country 10 years ago, and in the '90s, they didn't surpass sub-Saharan Africa in terms of GDP, which they often tie with IQ today. They didn't surpass sub-Saharan Africa until the mid '90s or so in terms of GDP. So, all this stuff that they like to, pretend like it's just natural to them or whatever, it's not. They and Asian people, this is why I have to point out to them, like y'all were never the first to do anything. You were placed in the system. You didn't create this system. You were placed there. So for you to brag about the place you had, or you were put in by somebody else, that's reeking of inferiority complex. Now I have to point out that they've never ruled the world. There's never been a time where somewhere from East Asia was the place to be. There's never been a time where oh, we got to get to China. That's never been a time in the world where they've ever been at the top, controlled anybody.
The
So for
Mongols?
the Mongols, that was they got as far as Rome, and they didn't establish an empire. And when Genghis Khan died, their whole empire collapsed. There was nothing left. There were no heirs. There was no kingdom. They didn't build any structures. They were nomadic savages. Literally, the only people who stopped them were Nubians, Nubian mercenaries that the Romans used. Those were the only people who stopped the Mongols. But I mean, in the Mongols wasn't an Oriental group. I can show you about three ancient pictures of black Mongols. Matter of fact, I'll
Oh
put it.
Lord, stop it.
Yeah, I'm not. Why not go
We've
there?
got
But you
can
know,
we
just
can we cage fight? Cage fight, cage fight.
no. But
Yeah, I'm staying out of
no. But
this.
but
Do
as
you
far as
mean
I
like
am,
with the Vikings, where some people of African descent joined the Vikings? Because the Vikings said we don't care if you want to join. They had Mongols over there too. They even had a website that said, yeah, all the Vikings weren't white. They're not denying this. Do you mean Mongols that were using people of African descent as soldiers? Because that's interesting because they have some pictures of Genghis Khan and his ancestors, and they look like Asian people. They look fair skinned, but we can't rule out that they may have. We know that they just took over swaths of land and they had sex with everybody's women. So we don't really know what they looked like in the end. Really, we don't.
Yeah, Genghis Khan, when he took over a village or a jurisdiction, would just point at the girls he liked and say,
Yep.
her,
Very,
her,
very literate
her.
guy, right?
got you. So I know,
Totally
I
smart.
know, Wanda, you don't get into the Afrocentric, but I'll just put this in the jumbotron. Those are black Mongols, and those aren't soldiers; those are generals. You can tell based on what they have on. Uh, those were black. Were some of them were not Oriental,
Let me
so it might
see.
have been just a
I don't see
I think
anything.
what you
it's
say.
delayed a
Where is it?
bit.
Oh, it's delayed.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, yeah, it'll pop up. I just threw it up there.
Or what did they, do you know their names and what they did? Were they
I'll get
doing
the
something distinctive?
I'll get I'll get the citations for both of the images, but yeah, those aren't peasants. They have general clothing and stuff on, so it's a little truth to that Black Asia stuff. But as far as Diane Yap and this whole IQ being genetic thing, if we're gonna make that argument, I really throw off with this. Are we gonna make the argument IQ is genetic? Whites weren't at the top. Matter of fact, whites, if you're gonna say that they're at the top, well, it's a few ways to attack it. For one, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of IQ? For one, does IQ prevent you from being conquered? Is it genetic? If it's genetic and it prevents you from being conquered by lower IQ people, then explain how East Asians with this high IQ were conquered and colonized.
It's
Can
totally
we
Yeah,
useless. It's
can we
totally
it's
useless.
start with the fact that they are massively on the cheating ring system? If they're
yeah.
so smart, why are they always using cheating rings? They can't win the Olympics without cheating. They can't get into college without cheating. So they're obviously, they have some sort of inferiority problems right there. If they were so smart, where's all the Chinese versions of HBCUs? They weren't even interested in education. Where's all their 50,000 patents and inventions during that period? They were there.
They just copy off
Yeah.
everybody. Just watch them on TikTok. All they do is copy off. They copy off.
Exactly.
They steal everybody's
They
clothing
do.
ideas. That everything they steal from
Remember?
everybody else. I don't think they have one original idea.
Remember they
I had I had a
remember
I had
they
a
hacked.
I had a friend in I had a friend in Memphis. She's a PhD MD. She worked at St. Jude, and she made cancer medication based off. She take blood from a child and make cancer medication based on their genome sequence. And we were out having dinner and drinks. And I said, "Man, you're pretty smart." And she said, "No, no, 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 I'm not smart." And she pointed out the window at some graffiti that one of the brothers had drew on the wall. She said, "Y'all are smart." And we were like, "What you mean by that?" She's like, I know how to do what I'm taught. Y'all know how to do what's within you." I was like, "Oh
But
shit."
that's now again that's true intelligence. The highest form of intelligence is intuition first and foremost. It's not
What
repeating
about creativity?
intuition. That's more on the psychic realm. That's it's some people have argued that's the highest form of intelligence. Then I heard the next highest form is writing. Like writers tend to be very smart people.
Now, the
But
reason I'm against Afrocentrism is because we don't need it. See, Eurocentric is needed so they can make everything seem like it's Europeans did it. We actually have legendary lineage. We don't have to make stuff up like Europeans do. They have to pretend like, Matthew Henson didn't go to climb the mountain and they just erased him right off of the history. We have this legendary history. So all we have to do is uncover it, expose it, and record it. And that's the end. We don't have to make everybody black or of African descent. It's not necessary because everyone is. We already
I
everybody
mean,
Black
around the
Power,
I,
world had
I,
is of African descent at some point.
Wani.
I mean, literally, the X Men were made off of fucking Malcolm X. And what was Stan Lee's story? Like he looked at Malcolm X and Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement and designed the X Men off of the Civil Rights Movement. We're superheroes,
Yeah, we got the
literally.
pineal gland. I sent Wani. Wani, I sent you a copy of my blog post where I ran down all that fun stuff. When you got time, I want you to
Just
read
now?
it. I sent it to you and Dr. Allen, I think, on Friday. But if you got time, I mean, that's the largest. Well, I copied that from Egypt Search, but they banned it on Egypt Search because it was the biggest thread on Egypt Search in Egypt Search history. I just copied it onto the other forum. I'm gonna just create my own blog eventually, but yeah. And I just want to say one more thing. The As far as Asians being, just creative people, no, their entire concept of modernity comes from the West. That's how they consider themselves smart, by building big skyscrapers. Everything that they consider modern, IQ is nothing more than testing your adaptation to modernity. The white Western power structure in the world invested their auto industry in China in the late 80s, which built their economy up, which allowed them to, build up a super class to, study and learn abroad and, build it's over 1 billion people. So if you take 1 or 2% of your population and build them as a super class, you can go around the world and dominate. But at the end of the day, the West gave them a leg up versus the other places in the world that the West sabotaged. And maybe on another topic, maybe on another day, maybe we can talk about Simeon Toko, Professor Allen, if you know about that.
What is it?
It was a guy who the white people tried to kill. He was like a Christ figure, like
You
a black.
said Simeon Toko?
Yeah, it's a very very deep story. They said Dr. Delbert Blair, Dr. Bobby.
I love
Yeah, yeah,
Delbert
Delbert
Blair.
Blair went in on Bobby. I mean on Simeon Toko. He there's a myth in parts of Africa about these creatures called the Tokalishi. These little dwarf creatures that live under the ground, and the legend has it that back in the 1960s, 50s, no, back in the
Oh, you
50s, he
know,
told.
seven is going to get triggered. They don't like boohoo. But tell me, because I do. I
I got
love every story about short people. Continue.
yeah, yeah. It's a but I mean just a quick insight of the story. They tried to kill him 3 times because they would say he had healing powers and stuff. It's this in the Congo. Or yeah,
Oh, I know this
yeah.
story. I know.
It
Wait,
was in.
this guy.
They say he was a Christ. Is this the guy they cut his
Yeah,
heart
they
out?
they 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 chopped him up under. First, they tried to chop him up under the weed whacker and the
Weed
Belgian
whacker.
soldier, and then he regenerated his body.
Is that their answer to everything?
Yeah, he went around looking
Yeah.
for his heart. Like, man, can you give me
Chopping
my
Well,
fucking
that
people
was the
heart
second
back?
time. Well, that was the second time. The second time he said his heart was hurting, so the Belgians said they're gonna do a heart surgery on him, and instead of fixing his heart, they took it out. And then they said it was a knock on the door, like on the operating room door, and it was him. While he was on the table, and he said, "Put my heart back in my body," and they
Wait,
did
his
it.
astral body was out there knocking?
That's what they said.
Oh,
And then
wow, that was wild.
the third story, they said that they try to just drop him off in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Drop him off?
Yeah, they put him in a helicopter and just try to just throw him overboard. But they said that he stopped the helicopter. He said he just stood up and he said, if I go down, we all go down. Then the helicopter just started plunging down into the ocean, and then they gave up, and then they just took him back on to the
Hold on, hold
land.
on. I need to get some information. You said there was
I'm gonna send you a video, but
you
as
said
far
there
as
was a
It's
group
interesting
of
yeah,
stuff.
short you
It's
said there
interesting
was a
stuff.
group of short people
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. So he told the Belgians in the
can
19 in
you send that
1950. He
over
said,
because that's definitely interesting to me. I'm correct.
Oh
Um,
Oh,
yeah,
it's way interesting. I can't believe I hadn't
I
talked
thought
about
you
that
would,
yet. I hadn't even
but
thought
yeah, he
about it.
told the Belgians in 1950. He said, you got 10 years to go. In the 10 years, you got to go." And they like,
Well, the dossier I read was that's why J. Edgar Hoover and the whole administration was afraid of the rise of a black
that's
messiah, because Simeon Toko
that's why
actually
the '60s,
came to his full
right? That's
potential.
why and it's because he it's a bunch of shit tied to that, but a lot of people say that's why a lot of quote unquote recognition of our humanity started to come, because he said something interesting. He said, "You know what? It's gonna be a bunch of me," and he said something about they're gonna be over in America.
a bunch of them.
And you and you
Yep,
yep,
that's the
and you
story.
can't stop us. It's gonna be a whole bunch of us. I'm just the first one, but the
Hmm.
next phase is gonna be in America.
What year
That's
was
why
that
these white
supposed to
people,
be?
yeah, that's why these white people are suddenly starting to. That's why in the '60s they had an attitude change, because it was a prophecy
With the
about that.
hippies?
Yeah, what's that?
With the hippies?
All that stuff. I mean, with the civil rights movement
With
and all that, we
COINTELPRO.
recognize we're brothers. That was all because they already knew what was coming. But he said in 1960, he said you got to go. And the story goes is that Deborah Blair says that that like 400 or 500 of these Tokalishi, little midget pygmy soldiers, whatever you want to call them, they just busted up out of the ground and started attacking the Belgian soldiers. The Belgian soldiers tried to shoot them, with the AKs and everything, but the bullets kept, bouncing off and stuff, and try to hit them with the tanks. And he said one of them was so strong, he just took one of his hands and just lifted the tank up and just flipped it over, and all the Belgian soldiers ran out of the Congo and Angola. And it's just a story that's widely known in Europe. It's widely known in Europe. Like it was in the newspapers and stuff in Europe, but they did not put that in the papers in America. And a funny story is
Well, no, Trey, I'm about to get in trouble. We gonna have put a pin in it. Send me a possible topic, and we will definitely talk
that,
about this, because I don't know why I never thought to talk about Simeon Toko, but thank you for reminding me about that. We will have a topic about that. We're gonna get a couple more speakers, and I'm gonna go to bed before I get in trouble. Who was next, Nikki? You remember who was next?
Mikhail, is your hand up?
One, yeah, Mikhail came up. Mikhail, you had something to contribute, bro.
They're brothers.
My Coke Zero went down the wrong way. Go ahead, bro.
No, 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 no. I'm just um, actually I was working and then I forgot what I was going to contribute. So next space, next space.
Appreciate it. I'm always happy to see you, Mikhail. I call him the architect. The architect is with us.
Thank you, there,
Um,
brother. And that's I appreciate that. Imhotep was an architect and a multi genius, by the way.
yes, sir. You carrying on the tradition, bro. I see you. You think I don't, but I see you.
I see you too, brother.
Uh,
I'll land.
I'm just doing what I can, bro. Um, we're gonna go to who hadn't had a chance to speak is Brooklyn. I mean, or she's still up. Okay, we're gonna go to the Black.
What's going on, Professor? Nick and
What's up, bro?
everybody in the space. To answer the question right quick, so I won't hold up your time. Is the FBA vote Republicans golden ticket? It could be. You know what I'm saying? If we allow it to be, if we continue to vote as a block and gain more numbers and inform more people, then I really feel like we can have our own political uh party, but it I know it will be harder to do that just because of the duopoly in both parties. It's more in their interest to survive and sustain each other and lock out a third party like they usually do. So I feel like it would be more better if we just show both parties that we we are voting as a block, and you can't take our vote for granted, and it's not for free or just it's guaranteed. It's a business deal, and you have to earn it or work for it. And is FBA guilt caused by proxy? I really just feel like we are very sympathetic people. So of course we feel apathetic to a lot of people. So if you're in pain, we feel the pain uh, the same amount. So with us being trying to be more hard hearted, I feel like it won't be used as a tool to disadvantage us or manipulate us to work in other people's favor, especially when it works against us. But hope everybody have a good night. Happy Sunday. Hope y'all have a good week.
Oh yeah, appreciate you, brother, as usual. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all wanted more information on Black History,
We're
I
not
do have
done
cop.
though. I thought we was just getting started, Professor.
Well,
We're
you
gonna
know the
do
deal.
close out the space.
Hey, check this out. This can go on all night. But
Professor.
hold
You
on. You
cheated.
know the rule.
You. I feel cheated. I
No,
feel
no, no, no,
cheated.
no, no, Nikki. This can go on all night. But you if you and Wani want to take the con, you can. Just let
Yo,
me know.
Professor.
Hey,
I just got a quick a quick thought.
go ahead.
Y'all was talking about and I want y'all to know real quick in these spaces when we have listeners and we have people that want to say things, we can have a thought and then y'all start getting deep. Y'all start getting super deep, and then niggas just start forgetting what they gonna say. Um, and y'all be getting deep. It's like, okay, hold up. Y'all start talking about who y'all was talking about with the supernatural powers in the
Those
Congo.
tiny
Send me and Toko. I totally
Yeah,
forgot about him.
yeah.
Yes,
Y'all
people
start.
all on
underground dwarfs.
TikTok who I know been listening to these spaces. I know it's white people, all types of lineages of people who I know been listening to these spaces. I can tell by how they are wording things, and I know that they getting their
Hey,
information
Nikki,
from
no
big
shit.
space.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and spill the beans. I'm gonna go ahead and spill it. I told Wani, but let me go ahead and spill it to all y'all. I got a. Let me think of how I'm gonna say this. Coming from the professor world, I have friends that are professors of computer science. Let's put it that way. And they told me a trick or two to look to see if people are following me on to see who's looking at my social media pages. And I'm not gonna tell y'all the tricks, but I know a couple of tricks. And tell me why I got goddamn CNN reporters that you see on TV looking at my feeds like incognito, spying on me, right?
I believe it.
Hell yes. And then
That's
I watch CNN and turn on CNN and they be having our fucking talking points. They watching us like a hawk.
that's what I and that's what takes me. That's a caveat into my the last point that I was gonna make is y'all brought up Jasmine Crockett earlier. Somebody brought up Jasmine Crockett earlier, and I look at these people like the Jasmine Crockett's and the people of her, and what I ask myself is, correct me if I'm wrong, but how many times has Jasmine Crockett been in a space like this? How many times
None.
has Jasmine Crockett? That's what I'm saying. How many times has Jasmine Crockett spoke to Tariq Nasheed in one of his spaces?
Look, stop talking about her wig.
I haven't even
That's what
seen her come
that's what
into
that's what I'm
a
saying.
local community meeting in my city.
But that's my point. So I'll land my plane with this. The point that I'm making is we have the Jasmine Crockett's of the world that sit here and buck their eyes and tap dance and eat the butter biscuit and drink the Kool-Aid and all that, but they're not really speaking to the grassroots. We are the grassroots. I think we all know this.
We
And
are the
when we sit
blueprint. We the blueprint.
we we are. And when we sit here and we have these dialogues and when we have these conversations, the Jasmine Crockett's are nowhere to be found in our spaces. They don't have the couth or the audacity to come in here and speak to the people who are really communicating about our issues. They don't come in these spaces. I've never heard Jasmine Crockett speak to Tariq. I've never heard Jasmine Crockett speak to Wani. I've never heard Jasmine Crockett speak to Nikki the God. I've never heard Jasmine Crockett speak to Professor Alon. These people are not anywhere to be found. It looks good on paper.
But
It
that's the change. Like the old protocol is not working. A lot of and Dr. Claude Anderson talks about this at nauseum. Like the whole protocol has been people buy politicians, they're bought by corporate interests, and they snoop around and try to pull the whole W.E. Du Bois thing of I'm a leader, I went to Harvard, I'm a PhD, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm a doctor. Look at me, I'm special, and I'm gonna lead the black community. But they're really on strings. We sick and tired of that shit. So it's over with. So Jasmine Crocker can do whatever she do. All I do is hope that she enjoys her position while it lasts. Because this new generation, the generation that I serve, Gen Z ain't gonna tolerate this shit. They are not disillusioned that there's some silver lining waiting on them. They know
Where's
that
her
this shit's
family
fucked up.
from?
I
They
don't
don't
know,
That's
but
what
like
I
I
us,
want to
but
know.
apologize for.
they don't like us, but they want to be us. Why
Mm.
Tamika Mallory host her own little rally right next? Because I was standing right there with Riza Islam, and he said, "Wait a minute, is that Tariq Tamika Mallory right there?"
where's Maxine
We were
Water?
at the second rally, and Tariq had like thousands of people there, right? And Riza Islam looked over, and there's this little crowd of about like 10 people, and they were speaking at some podium. And he's like, is that Tamika Mallory over there? And she hardly didn't nobody show up to her shit. Nobody showed up to her shit. Everybody was
Gen,
at Tariq's.
the millennials and Gen Z and even the Gen Xers are sick and tired of this. They looking at these folks. They looking at the position that America's in and saying, "Well, what the fuck y'all been doing in leadership?" And all they do is got a smile. I'm sick and tired of seeing Roland Martin's ass.
Yeah,
I'm
they
fucking
always
Professor
sick and
watching.
tired of his
Professor,
ass.
where Maxine Waters family from?
Jamaica.
Ooh.
Who cares?
Cause they be arguing me down in the comments about all the great things Maxine Waters done for our
Well, just look
lineage,
it up on
and I
AI.
ain't.
Just ask, what have they done? A lot of times it says advocating for this. We're doing that. She advocated for that. She did this. Not anything solid.
That's what I'm saying. It's just a whole bunch of eye bucking and symbolism.
I'm
That's
not
all
from
it
I'm
is.
not from California. I don't know much about it, but I heard that under Maxine's leadership, allegedly, like whole fucking neighborhoods were lost. What
Well,
was it,
it just
Compton or
looks
somebody
like,
Spank
help me
came
out?
in.
yeah, it looks like, like Beirut.
Well, Maxine Waters is a people of color advocate. I'll just leave it at that.
She's a baby boomer and they have failed us. I will say it on a goddamn mountaintop. I said it in court. I said it in Spain. The baby boomers took their 30 pieces of silver and ran and did not advocate for their goddamn children. And matter of fact, they're competing with their goddamn children. And the studies show that they are not even giving up their houses because their house is their power. And I'm not giving my daughter my house because I'm competing with her. They can catch fire.
Yeah, they advocate for people of color, and we all know at this point in our spaces, when as soon as we hear people of color, we automatically delineate. As soon as we hear that terminology, we know what it means.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna let. I think Agent Ju. I don't even think Agent Zero had a chance to speak. I see his hand's been up for a while. I'm gonna let him have last words, and then I'm gonna go sneak in bed like a Navy SEAL, like a ninja.
What's going on, family? What's up, Professor? What's up, Wayne? What's up,
What's up,
Nikki?
Hey.
brother?
I'm good, brother. How y'all doing? I want to go back to what Soheen was saying. Um, and I said this before, but mark my words. At some point in time in the future, y'all three will be held up as black icons. Not just including y'all, brother Watkins, brother McCall. Y'all are doing something very, very important. Um, Nikki, the first time I've ever heard Professor Watkins speaking, I was driving a big truck and I just tapped my phone. I seen your name at the bottom, so I knew it had to do something with us. So I tapped on that I tapped on the video and it opened up and it was a room with you three in it. And it was amazing. That inspired me to even to get a Twitter page. You know, that was the whole reason why I started my Twitter page. Um you guys are doing something really, really important. Really, really important. And don't stop doing what you're doing. Um Second off, I think I heard Juicy Genius speak about black women, and it was on Black Alpha Network's page, which was something that he had a video that he had posted. It was a black woman saying that um, it's things will get better when it becomes a time when black women recognize that it's not just flat blackness, that it's about our lineage. This lady actually said those words, like it's about our lineage. And when we get black women to focus on that more, that everything will come to fruition. Um, also, like I said, you guys are doing something really, really, really important. Nikki, keep doing what you're doing. Please keep reposting those videos, keep archiving them. It'll be something. I point a lot of people to go to your page and just skip around and listen to some of the videos and get started there. Y'all guys are really doing something important, and please don't stop. And as far as the topic of the room, is the FBA vote the golden ticket for Republicans? I would say so. Yes, we started off as Republicans, and I'm not a Democrat nor a Republican. I tend to lean to whoever's going to help us out, or whoever's policies is going to be in our favor. And then also too, if you look at LULAC, if I'm not mistaken, it's the first time they ever endorsed any candidate ever, and that was Kamala Harris. And I say that to say this. Somebody had mentioned earlier they tend to swing to whoever is going to benefit them the most, or whoever they think is going to benefit the most, and that's proven by them endorsing her because they thought that she was going to be able to let all these illegal immigrants come in here and stay. And on that, I'll end my plane.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I really enjoyed y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and try to sneak in the bed and try to step over trip wires and shit. Um,
Good
try
night.
not to get blown up. Tariq is on, but I want to say, if y'all wanted scholarship on these issues, go ahead and go to Our Story Publications on a Cash App and put $25 on it and put your full address and full name, and I will send you a copy. I got a whole nother pack of books and came in the mail. I really enjoyed y'all. We will be back up tomorrow. If you didn't get a chance to speak yesterday, you will get a chance to speak tomorrow, and we will see you then. See y'all on Tariq's page. I'm gonna go in there and, and
Holla,
sneak up in
peace.
there. Holla,
See y'all
Nikki
over
left.
here.
Nikki's still here. Wani left already, but I love y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.
Okay, bye.
We rendezvousing on Tariq's page. Bye.